Our next speaker is Mark Levy, president of the Revenue Development Resources. He's got 32 years of experience in growing revenue, relationships, and skill sets for business owners, managers, and sales teams. Mark's passion to teach, train, and make sure others don't step in the same potholes he has led him to be frequent presenter at the RAB, the NAB, the International Idea Bank, the National Association of Black-Owned Broadcasters, Broadcast Education Association conferences, dozens of state broadcast organizations internationally in Barbados, Canada, and the Cayman Islands, Guatemala, South Africa, and Trinidad. And now, live in Atlanta, Mark Levy. Thanks.
Hello, check. All that actually means is that they couldn't find anybody else, so they got me in. I had someone ask me, Levy, how do you get from being a jockey to being up here in Consultant's Corner? There are two major tools that you need for that. One is donuts. Okay? If you like donuts, you eat your way out of the saddle pretty fast, and that happened to me after 2 years. The second are mentors. Mentors who will talk to you about, don't step there. There's a landmine there. If you step on it, you're going to get hurt. And even after you're dumb enough to step on that landmine, after they've told you not to, they will pick you up, and they will help you get yourself put back together. So what we're going to do, good heavens, okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about kind of the here and now, 10 reasons radio sellers don't get the money or respect they deserve, and what they can do about it now. Because I love vision, but we all have to go back to the station, on Monday, right? We've got to go out there and see things. They're generalities, folks. They're generalities. I've been blessed to work with literally hundreds of thousands of sellers and sales calls and all that good stuff. You know, I was VP of the sales for RAB for a long, long time, so I got to know a lot of you there. So again, they're generalities, and like I say, I'm not old, I'm just experienced. This is my number one thing. If a company has a mission statement, and by the way, how many of you have mission statements? Not near as many hands going up as I'd like to see. Those of you that have mission statements, how many of you know that your employees know what that mission statement is? Because if you don't know, and the people who work with you don't know what it is that you stand for, there will be nobody out there to hold your company accountable internally so that you know what it is that you stand for as a company. And I don't see in this day and age how a ship without a rudder can go anyplace. And having that mission statement is so critical, so everybody knows what the company's all about. And if you don't have a mission statement, it's never too late. Gather everybody up, and I mean everybody, from the director of first impressions to the #1 air personality, all the salespeople, go out there and create a mission statement and an action plan. An action plan that reflects back to that mission statement so that you know what it is that you want your company to stand for. Number two, we invest very little money in trying to hire new talent into this industry, and unfortunately, I know this firsthand. Some of you may be familiar with the NAB's Media Sales Institute. It's a program whereby, in this past year, I had 20 college graduates that I spent 12 days with. 20 college graduates who, get this, wanted to go into broadcast sales. I didn't think there were that many people in the world that want to get into broadcast sales, okay? So they did. I invited 1,200 radio sales managers to come to recruitment day to watch these students in action making presentations to a live client that they had done a customer needs analysis for. Do you know how many radio managers showed up? 7. And here's what I got. Oh, Mark, if I go down there, geez, I got to pay a couple $100 for an airplane ride, stay in a hotel. Yeah. Okay, if you had a client that was going to spend $50,000 or $60,000, would you spend a couple $100 to wine and dine that client to get him on the air? You sure would. You hire somebody the right way, somebody who can be good, somebody like you. I promise you, spending a couple $100 to interview good people is well worth the time and effort. 2A, we give the hardest job to the new sellers. Okay, I do not understand this. We all know. I mean, we talk to sellers all the time. And what's the hardest thing about the job? Prospecting, trying to go find new business. We were taught as kids don't talk to strangers. Our clients were taught not to talk to strangers, and yet we're trying to talk to strangers when we meet new clients. But we hire the new business development, the young kid. They don't know how to do this. It seems to me that there ought to be somewhat of a change in the industry whereby what we do is we take our veterans and we're going to say, and this is blasphemy, okay, we're going to take some of your billing accounts off of you. And what we're going to do is we're going to give them to the new guy here so they can get used to actually working with some clients and feeling good about being a part of the station. But we're going to treat it like Amway. So you're going to retain a portion of that commission on this new seller as they develop the business. And the higher they go, the more money you're going to make. But since you've now had some time freed up, we want you to go out there and what? Prospect for new business. Let's kind of make things a little bit better. If we're going to get more business into this industry, we need to have our best sellers out there prospecting. 2B, we foster the belief that if you're really good at this job, you get to go to management because that's where the glory is. We take people who have a wonderful skill set, and selling is a wonderful skill set. As you know, it's hard to do. Some of you have been in this business 35 years. You know what you've gone through. I think it's fair to say that not always are the skill sets that make a good seller the same that make a good leader or manager. But what happens? We bring these great sellers up, and we're going to put them into management. Oftentimes, they don't necessarily want to go there, or they think they do because there are no rewards in the industry or within the company about being a great seller. Oh yeah, we get to go to the President's Club and everything else. But what can we do? What can you do back at the station level to truly glorify great sales effort and want the people who are good sellers, get them to want to stay in sales? If you haven't thought about doing that, I'd highly encourage you to do so. Our knowledge of business is rudimentary at best. When's the last time that you had a sales meeting at your company where you brought in the leading economic advisor for the community? Maybe the head of the Better Business Bureau or the Chamber of Commerce or something like that to talk about business. See, we got into this business, a lot of us, because we were fun, we were glib, and we like to talk about the creative part. But a lot of your clients find business being very important. What is the Federal Reserve? What does cause inflation? What causes a recession? I'm going to give you a free tool. On the internet, on YouTube, you will find a series of videos called We the Economy. We the Economy. They're like 7 or 8 minute videos. They're fun to watch. And anybody ever seen them? Okay. Watch them. Do a couple at each sales meeting. You'll clear them up in the next few weeks. By the way, I just want to roll back to one thing here about this hiring. We deal with Omnia behavioral profiles. Any of you that are not Omnia customers right now, if you'll email me, mark@rdrtoday.com, we're going to give you a free Omnia profile to use the next time you want to hire somebody, okay? So just send me a note, say you want an Omnia, and we'll get it to you. In this day and age, if we want to get more money, we have to get over being uncomfortable about asking the ad budget. So what I'm going to say is blasphemy again. I don't think we should ever ask about an ad budget, because I don't think your clients have an ad budget. Oh yeah, mine do. No, I don't really think they have an ad budget. I do think they have a client acquisition and retention budget. They have money for client acquisition and retention. So as opposed to asking about that, though, because there's two reasons. Number one, they don't really have an ad budget. Number two, if you ask what's your ad budget, they're going to lie. Clients that don't tell the truth. Can you imagine? Let's ask these 5 questions instead. And by the way, body language is important because they care, but not that much. Yeah, how many people a week come in? How many people a week buy something? We now know their closing ratio. Yeah, what's an average sale? Now we know how much business they're doing a week. How much have you invested in the past few months to get to the type of sales and traffic that you're enjoying right now? Doesn't tell us what they're spending, tell us what they've spent, and how much more would you like to grow that? Now, with those 5 questions, and by the way, we have a little spreadsheet on this to help you figure it all out and make it easy. If you want this, just ask for the ad to sales ratio. You also know something else. You also now know what their cost per prospect is and what their ad to sales ratio is. For every $1 that they're spending in advertising, what are they getting back in sales? I guarantee you that most of your competition doesn't know that, but it's important for you to know as you help to monitor their progress. Dicey. If the adage, you look like you're worth the money, is true, in many cases we get what we deserve. Truth of the matter, gang, is I don't want you to all wear suits all the time. I ran country stations, okay? I called on blacksmiths. And you don't go out in the field with their shoeing horses in a suit. But when you go out, let's look like we're neat and clean. Let's look like we're worth the money. The more money we're asking for, I think it's more important, the better we look. If you wear a tie, you know, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sometimes you loosen that puppy up. Don't. Okay, don't wear the tie then. No wrinkles. Okay, ladies, you don't ever have to worry about that. Your thing is fashion magazines. I wonder if this is business attire. If you got to wonder, it isn't. All right? Business etiquette? We don't need no stinking business etiquette. One of the things we do at the Media Sales Institute is we bring in the local Miss Manners. Because if you get invited out to the local country club by the client to have lunch, and you got 15 different forks on the table, do you know which one to use? Do you know what, is it polite, is it correct to pull a chair out for somebody in this day and age? If you have not had some schooling in business etiquette, you might be surprised the perception that people have, and it may not be a positive one about the team. So bring in the local Miss Manners. Make sure that everybody is well versed on business etiquette. We have 18 million reasons why we can't or won't guarantee results. But there are things that you can guarantee. And we have a whole module on that. If you want to, just say, hey, Levy, send me your guarantee module. We will. And thanks to a gentleman by the name of Travis Sirocco and Jay Philippone, we put together a list of things that you can and should guarantee. We even have a little template you can make as a certificate and hang it on a client's wall. And if you want to demoralize the competition, have them come in there and see something from your station hanging on the wall. What kind of things can you guarantee? Well, what about guaranteeing that a flight won't run until the client signs off on the schedule, that the spots won't air until the client has approved them, that you have in there how often you will communicate with the client and the client's favored manner of communication. There are a number of things. I think we've got like 14 things that you can guarantee. And in doing so, it helps strengthen the position that your radio station is above and beyond everybody else. Number 7, we don't write or spell so good, and our grammar is bad. I'm living proof of this. On Sunday, I had to email poor Jeff at home. I said, Jeff, I'm not going to believe this, but I sent you something that had mispunctuation and bad spelling in it. It really did. The more important something is, the more money you're asking for, the more eyes should be taking a look at this, because trust me on this, spell check and grammar check don't always work so well. At our company, believe it or not, we have this deal. My partner, Holly, is in the back right there. She's a retired attorney, and she's got an eagle eye on her that's unbelievable. She gets very mad when I send stuff out that I don't have her check. This was one of those times. It was a bad Sunday at our house. But the more money we're asking for, the more people we have read through things. If you're asking for $20,000 or $30,000, by all means, please have as many people as possible take a look at this to make sure that when it goes out, it is reflective of how professional you are as a seller, your station is as a station, and that radio is as an industry. We're afraid of what clients might tell us, so we make excuses never to ask. We have a client survey. Levy, I want your client survey. We'll send it out to you. It's simple. It asks what clients really think about doing business with you. And I will tell you, it's scary sometimes. Okay? You can put it up on your website. You can do SurveyMonkey with it. You can drop it off to your clients. You can put it in the statement stuffer. And you will find out an awful lot about what people really think about your stations and the service that you give. And it can be painful. But you know what? It is better to know the monster that you can see as opposed to the invisible monster. If I see Frankenstein, I can run away from him. The invisible monster, I don't know where he is. He can trip me up in the woods real easy. So ask for that. We'll send it to you. And don't be afraid to ask. We do a lousy job of tooting our own horn about the successes we generate. Boy, if you have taken any look at all about the trades lately, you have seen some wonderful articles about radio. It's been years since I've seen articles like this. What are you doing with the articles from Forbes and some of the other things that are out there right now? Are you sharing those with your clients? Are you making sure that every one of your salespeople has that to show with them? Oh, and here's this. And this really wrinkles my prune the wrong way. Selfie! I don't care about your selfies. You shouldn't either. But you know what? This is a wonderful tool right here to help toot your own horn. When you've got clients that are really getting great success from your stations, imagine saying, hey, would you take just a few moments and share with me what it is that you like about doing business with us and doing business with me. And you get 3 or 4 of those. If everybody at the station gets 3 or 4 of those, now we get a whole library of them. And when people are out there saying, oh man, on this radio thing, I don't know, or your stations, geez, I'm not sure about that at all. Now instead of you trying to talk about how great you are, you say, look, I understand, but let me share with you what some people that do business with us say. Now you have a very wonderful free tool. Number 10 is out of order right here, but this one right now. Do any of you ever deal with clients that say, I don't need to advertise, business is too good? 3 questions. 3 questions to help you get business when that is being said to you. Mr. Advertiser, when you started your business, did you start it because you thought you could take business off the competition? That's a Las Vegas sucker bet answer. Of course I did. Okay. So, has it been successful? Of course it was. Mr. Advertiser, I'm glad business is good for you right now, but what are you doing right now to make sure that the person who is out there right now plotting to take business from you will not be successful? What are you doing to defend that which you've worked so hard to bring to the table? And then do the most important thing we all learn in sales, shut up. It will create aha moments. It won't work all the time, or I've invited you to my villa in the Cayman Islands to do this. But it will create some aha moments and at least keep the dialogue open. Last 2 points. Sharing your ideas can get you fired. Years ago, the RAB used to have a huge database. People would send us great commercials and stuff. Now, nobody's allowed to do that. You may run into some situations in this day and age where you're working with a client and you know that what the client needs is what you bring to the table, but what the other guy needs to bring to the table too. And it may be worthwhile to go to the boss and say, look, in order to get a big chunk of money out of this, we may have to bring so-and-so in. Because of that, we may have to share an idea. If you're really worried about not sharing your ideas, especially when you do your presentations, please start doing this at the very bottom. Copyright, WMDL Radio. Owned by WMDL Radio until purchased by said client. Now, I don't really know if it's going to hold up in court, but it looks impressive. And after all, looks are really, really important in this day and age. Now, what do we got time left here, Jeff? I think, 1 minute? 2 minutes, all right. When you're a jockey, you try to finish fast and first, okay? So I'd like to thank you all very, very much for being attentive here today. If we can help you with any of the tools, please let us know. We finished early. Thanks, guys.